Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
All right, so I still have to get my recalibrated to my. So I have to get my VPS recalibrated so things are a little bit more zoomed in. But y'all know that I'm mainly focused on trading indices, especially during this time. If we go to, what is it, Forex Factory, let's go see if you can check out this news. So every day, you obviously want to go to Forex Factory or MyFX Street, or they even have the news on fxbook.com. So there's a bunch of ways to get access to the news that's happening in the market. And this morning we had news around about 30 minutes ago at 8:30, and oftentimes I usually don't try to. I'm mainly scalping now, so like what I'm doing personally in the market, because every trader that we have has a different style and what is it they're looking for. Jackie's a little bit more of an intraday / swing trader. She's trading on the H1 timeframes usually. Nate is looking for scalps using order blocks and imbalance zones usually during his sessions. And again, keep Nate in your prayers. Hopefully he's gonna be feeling a lot better next week and can really get back to it. And then Cash is obviously doing binary, whether it be the 15 seconds or the, you know what I mean? I've seen Cash call out hour-long binary trades. So he's got options with what he's doing. But for me personally, I'm mainly looking for breakouts, right? So every day, and here's why. One, I was never really trading the indices before I started using AIRO. Like I was more so trading just gold, Forex pairs and stuff like that for the most of my career. Even though a lot of people ask me like about that big day that I had last year during COVID with the 300,000, and that was all on regular Forex pairs. So that wasn't even any indices, but I found myself being much more consistent trading the breakouts with the indices because it's just very, they kind of flow. So like once they pick a direction and what they're going, you can catch a lot of pips in a minimal amount of time at usually pretty low risk. So I've kind of fallen in love with the indices, and I've been trading the breakouts heavily because they're just been consistent. And so I'm going to show you guys basically what I'm doing on a day in and day out basis to find my trades. Because if let's say I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go back to doing a 2-hour call or just keep it at this 1 hour. But regardless, I want everybody, to be trained and know how to comfortably identify some of these things in the market without having to go into too deep of like strategies with fibs and, you know what I mean, Elliott waves and a lot of the things that might be too advanced for a brand new person or somebody who's in. I believe that everybody could trade breakouts at a very low risk kind of a situation. So I'm going to break down what breakouts I'm looking for. For y'all been rocking with me for a little while, you probably already seen me do this, but I want everybody that's a part of our community to do this on a day. Like literally you can do this every day and potentially find pairs, and it works the best with the indices because they actually move. But you can do the same thing with your GBP pairs as well. So let me clean this up and I will explain. And again, y'all can drop your questions in the chat. Probably a Q&A might work better to catch a hold of everything, but I got y'all. And because of what we already experienced, it might not be a good time. Like we might not actually get into a trade today, just because of what's already happened. So here is S&P, right? So the two breakouts that I'm looking for. So every day there's opportunities to shout out to everybody that just pulled up to the call. Welcome. I see y'all falling in. Much love. So pretty much on a day in and day out basis. And again, I see a lot of leaders on here too, who I know personally have teams of their own and stuff like that. And this is something that you can teach to your teams as well, because I've just found it to be very easy. I think that Nas might be even a cleaner example. Let me go to Nas. All right, perfect. So let me see, delete these couple lines and open up the chat. No problem. What's up, Dr. Jeff? How you feeling? All right, bet. So this is Nas, and we're looking at it on the 5-minute. One of my favorite reasons of leveraging AIRO, it just makes everything super easy for me to see. Obviously, I know that this was yesterday's money zone. This was yesterday from that 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, for everybody who doesn't know, we have a AIRO 5.0 that should be releasing in a few weeks as well, which is a huge deal. I cannot tell you guys the details of what's going to be in it yet, but just know that it's coming and that what you currently know as AIRO is being added to massively, along with the launch of AP Social, which is going to make our calls just a lot smoother. So get ready for that as well. You can DM Nate and say AIRO 5.0 with the little eyes and see what he says. But whenever he drops the bomb on what the details are, it's going to shake up the industry a little bit. So what we're doing, so for me personally, there's two breakouts that I'm trading. Okay. So the first one is just the high and the low of the previous day's money zone. Okay. So that's the high and the low of the previous day's money zone. So you can come into a chart, any chart, doesn't matter, and do this every day. So all you're doing is drawing a horizontal line at the bottom of the money zone for the previous day. And this is just like when you wake up and get into your charts for the day, however your, strategy or flow is. I don't know what y'all be doing in the mornings. But when you come to the chart, you identify your low of the day and you identify your high of the previous day. And then, so there's two breakouts. That's one of them, which is the money zone breakout, which is strategy 4. And then the other one, strategy 3, which is your your Asia session breakout. Okay. And this one I've been liking a lot more because I've been seeing price play off of these zones just over and over again. So you know that this in-between space that's right here is the first 4 hours of it is the back end of New York session. So the money zone ends at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but New York session really ends at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the first 4 hours after the money zone are still technically New York session. So I'm really only referring to the next 5 hours that go, it's probably 7 hours that go into London session. So it's like these first couple hours here, this is not Asia session just because it's in between the money zones. This is still New York. It's this over that is mainly Asia session. And you can use period separators or other things to be able to identify that. But it's easy for me to just kind of look at and be able to tell. All right. But my point is you want to identify the high and the low of the Asia session as well. And you can play. So I'll do it first. So your high of the Asia session is about right here. And remember, this is still New York session. So I'm not considering this. I'm really only talking about from here on. You identify your high and your low of Asia session, and you can trade off of these breakout lines all day and night. You guys see Jackie talking about her fib level breakouts, and there's other breakouts to trade. And I just haven't found any to be as easy. I try to have non-subjective information. I want somebody to be able to this is what it is. It's not debatable. It's not where I think and where this is what it is. That the high was here, the low was here, the high of the Asia session was here, the low of the Asia session was here. Those are 4 lines that I'm looking to trade off of, depending on what's going on in the market that day. So you see here for NAS 100, right into London session. So right where my mouse is at, this is 1 a.m. Eastern Standard, right when the money zone starts. All right. So as soon as that happens, you can draw on your high and your low of the money zone. So your high and your low of Asia session. So hey, if price are going to break above this high, I'll be looking for buys. If price would break below this low right here, I'll be looking for sells. And you can look and see what these numbers are. Like as soon as the money zone starts right here, you can have 15,062. And what I would do is I know a lot of people who do this. They either use MetaTrader 4 or they use call levels, or there's a bunch of apps to send you an alert when price is near a key level of yours. And that's basically one of the main things of trading is identifying key levels and then trading price action around key levels. It's a very simple, commonly used process. But you see here, you have your high and your low identified. And then this was last night during London session. So what you're looking for is a strong close over one of your breakout zones. And a strong close meaning that you don't have a huge wick that's attached to this candle. So I'm looking at this 5-minute candle that's right here. This is a strong close below this low of the Asia session. So once that happened, obviously I was asleep, and most people were, but this is why I say that depending on when we don't know when the breakouts are going to happen, where I'm not in control of that. It's more so just playing probabilities. And that's why I like to trade from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. because usually we'll have with the New York Stock Exchange open, there's usually enough volatility to push it in one of the directions of a potential breakout spot. And with these breakouts, I'm not looking to catch 20,000 pips. I'm really just looking to catch, if I'm trading US 30, 200 pips, NAS 100 pips, S&P 50 pips. So it's that's what I'm usually looking for with these. So you see here, if price broke this and you entered in for the sell, and a lot of people ask me Dante, what's your risk reward for how many pips you're risking for every time? That people are just not funny about how they ask questions. But for me personally, you have 2 to 3 different options for how you can manage your risk when you enter a trade from a breakout. And again, which one you choose is personally on you. So your first option is after you have the breakout here, so you can put your stop loss. It depends. And again, this is why knowing what indice you're trading matters, because the answer for S&P is not the same as the answer for US 30. But if I'm trading S&P, you can put your stop loss 20 to 25 pips, maybe 30 pips above the whatever line or whatever zone it is you're breaking out above. You can also put your stop loss, just a super easy method that I used a lot, is just above the moving average. So you see here, if I were to enter this trade right here, I would have my stop loss. This would be just at 200, 250 pips to have it above the moving average. And after that, now once price goes in your favor, like price broke here, boom, it continued to shoot down. You see it went down almost just under 400 pips. All you're doing is once price goes in your favor, like once you have your stop loss set, so you know now my stop loss is 250 pips. The second that I get 50 pips in profit on NAS, I'm putting my stop loss at entry. And now no matter what, this is a risk-free trade. So I'm looking for a breakout and a potential continuation and just sliding my stop loss, basically trailing it by 50 to 100 pips and getting with them, like just riding that breakout. And in this scenario, this is last night, you would have had 300 to 400 pips here after price broke this line here. Now, this morning, once I got up and I saw that there was news happening at 8:30, I'm like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna get a breakout in some way. All my lines and all of these things were already still marked here, but you see here, price had a strong, huge, this is an impulse off of news, but it still is a strong close over this line here. And let's say you were to hop in this buy after it broke the high of yesterday's Asia session, you would have hopped in right here. And you see price went up again, almost 400 pips, but your stop loss, again, you have options. So it's like you can just have your stop 50 to 100 pips below the red line. So the distance from the red line to your entry is about 160 pips, you see right here. So if I added another 50 to 100 pips on it, it's about a 250 pip stop loss that I would have had here. But after you entered, you're almost immediately in the profit, enough for you to put your stop loss in profit and just ride it up. So it's like I plan the breakouts, and again, I know I'm kind of feel like I'm on a soliloquy just going off, but I believe that somebody who doesn't have a ton of experience can practice trading breakouts and pretty much find good opportunities to take trades consistently without having to have or relying on subjective information that is changed based on who is viewing it. So I hope that makes sense. I'll go into S&P and basically do the same thing. And we can do the same thing for US 30 as well. And you see US 30 shooting right now. The entry, he says 5.0 is going to be on TradingView. Listen, I can't release what 5.0 is going to be about. Y'all going to have to ask that man, Nate. But it is definitely some exciting things coming. So here is S&P 500. So I have no lines on this right now. So what are we identifying? 2 breakout zones. One is the high and the low of the money zone. Boom. Boom. Added 2 lines. Then is the high and the low of the Asia session. Boom. And this will get a little tricky because I'm sure this right here probably confuses some people, but you want to keep your eyes on the second half of this gap right here in between money zone and money zone. You're focused on the second half, not the first half, because remember, the first half is still technically New York session. And you want to make sure that you're not slipping on this. And again, these are all like, this would have been a fire lineup. Boom. So here's my Asia session. So here to here is Asia, top of the money zone, bottom of the money zone. So those are our 4 breakout lines, which again, all you're doing now is waiting for price to come near one of these areas and have a strong close over it. And again, you don't win every trade, but winning the high majority, especially taking them at the right times, you'll win much more than you lose trading a strategy. And again, this is literally what I'm doing on my live account because it's just so much easier than doing a lot of the other things that I've seen people do. And it creates trading opportunities every day, which is also something that I like as well. It doesn't mean that I take a trade every day, but the opportunity is there. And you see here, so this was at about 8 o'clock this morning, 8:15-ish, and this is right before the news. Shout out to QB Stu. I was on the phone with him while this was happening. But you see that and again, this is because of news. We had an impulse, but you had a strong close. This candle here with the arrow, strong close over your zone here. Taking this one would have been more on like if you had wanted to or not, because if you enter right here, you have to decide on where your stop loss is going to be. So your distance from your entry to the line is already 45 pips. And then you would want to add 20 pips at least on top of that below the line. So that way you can have the room that you need. So you would have had to risk maybe 60 or 70 pips on this S&P trade. And somebody might be like, you know what? I don't like that one. I'd rather have a cleaner breakout than this one, especially right after news. But if you would have entered, you would have been immediately in the profit, and this trade is still running, but you're up to almost 80 pips. And I just saw, if you look at the bag chat, shout out to Jackie, she had called out basically this trade or a very similar trade with S&P for 80 pips this morning, and they ran it up. So shout out to Jackie on her calls, a better opportunity to hop in. But when we hop on at 9, this stuff had already happened, you know what I mean? And even this secondary breakout right here, this candle right here could have been a potential second entry. So this was literally right as we got on the call. But this candle right here I'm referring to. So this is the 5 minute on the S&P. And I hope y'all can hear me. I don't see nobody asking no questions. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But this candle right here is a strong bullish close that you have over your red line in this scenario. And you can top in this trade. And with this situation, you could have like your distance from your entry to the red line is only 8 pips. So then putting a 20, 25 pip stop loss on top of that would have given you a even lower risk trade to take that will currently be sitting almost 30 pips in profit. So it's like those are two trading opportunities with S&P that happened basically right before the call. So it's like, I don't want people to hop on the calls with us in the morning and be like, oh, Donta didn't take a trade, da, 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 da. It's like, bro, whenever the trade lines up, I'm taking it. And that's not attached to if you guys are on the call with me or not. I'd rather you be comfortable in knowing the strategy and how I'm doing what I'm doing than just seeing what I'm doing and being like, all right, well, that's him. That, you know what I mean, it doesn't apply to me. I feel like anybody can use these strategies. But that is, if that makes sense, can I get a 1 in the chat box? No, I don't zoom out to see the trend. Somebody just put, that's a good question. Because a lot of times, especially with the indices, like it's you have options basically on how you want to the overall direction of the trend can prevent you from taking a good trade with the indices. And as long as you're comfortable with how much you're risking per that trade, I've been just rolling with it. Like right now, if I were looking at this and I zoom out, I'm on the 5 minute, we only have 2 greens. So we're in an uptrend. So I would like all the buys they were looking for would have been a go. But if news, like if your price is right here and price shot down after news, oh, I was taking that sell. Absolutely, because it's like you get a breakout over that line, over those zones, and it's like I'm taking that. Even if I lose the trade, I'm comfortable with the risk. Now, I think that was Lonnie. Let me check. Who was that in the Q&A? No, that was Dwayne. Dwayne. Now, what's interesting is that I would probably bet that you will win. Your winning percentage may be higher when you roll with the trend. So you're checking the overall direction of the trend and only taking the breakout in that direction. But there's definitely going to be 2-3 days out of every week where you're not taking any trades if you're only rolling with the direction of the trend. So it's like I try to create still good trading opportunities as well. Yes, good question, Sadia. She said it also broke Asia session at London. Would I trade that also? And again, you see here, good question. So in this example here, you have a strong, and again, this is to the south. So anytime you're going against the trend, your win percentage is going to go slightly down. It doesn't mean it's not good enough to be profitable though. The goal is to stay profitable in the market. So if you would have hopped in this trade here once, and this is to the south side. So we're talking about S&P. Your red line here is already identified. You got a arrow in the direction and a strong close over. So if you would have hopped in this trade after this candle, let's say the distance to your zone would have been 9 pips. You added 20 pips or 30 pips to that. Your stop loss would have been about 40. You would have got 10 pips in profit, and then could have probably got stopped out on when it came back up and reversed. So it's like in that example, you would have lost 30 pips, but I wouldn't be crying myself to sleep about losing 30 pips. You know what I mean? Like I have no issue with that. It's just a part of the game. Because at times you'll see the indices really make moves during London session and at night. So it's just depending on what's going on. But in that scenario, you wouldn't have taken that loss if you only took it with the trend. But I'm not even teaching to only take it with the trend, because some people are like, oh, I didn't take a trade in 4 days. AIRO sucks. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, bro, you guys are crazy. But it is it just creates more trading opportunities. Oh, bet I see the ones in the chat. Appreciate y'all. She said I didn't hear what's going to be in 5.0. That's because I didn't tell you. I'm gonna have to ask Nate. All right. But I can tell you that it's definitely happening, which is a big deal. All right, so we did NOS, we did S&P. Let's go break down US 30. And again, US 30 was already clean this morning when I woke up. As soon as I saw this, like when I got on the charts today for the first time, prices already above. This is yesterday's money zone. It was just teetering above this line here. And then the arrow happened. And then y'all saw what news did. But it's like now, I'm not chasing a US 30 trade. So it's like, and I was talking to somebody right before, I was talking to QB Stu right before this call. And I'm like, bro, like the trade was right here. Like this was it. Like, I'm not going to hop on a call now and try to force another one and potentially lose money or have somebody else lose money. The best example is literally right here. And you could have gotten in this trade multiple times. Now, knowing there was news, you might have been like, nah, I'll just chill and wait till after. But you'll see here that even when you first have your first strong candle, like let's check this out. So you have your high of yesterday identified. You see price respected again, and then finally broke up here. And you're really your first strong candle, and this is US 30. So y'all be careful with y'all account sizes with this. Your first strong candle over is about right here, right? So this to the distance to the zone, it's about 100 pips, or to the line is about 100 pips. So with US 30, you need to go at least 100 to 150 pips below the zone as your stop loss. So you need to add that to it. So you're looking at about 250 pips. And if you wanted to do it at the moving average, it'd be about 260. Okay. So we're talking about if you would have entered this buy, this would have been maybe 6 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning. You would have entered this buy here at a 250 pip stop loss in US 30, which is basically just below this green zone that y'all can see here. Shout out to AIRO. You would have literally been sitting in this trade for maybe an hour, 2 hours, right up until 8:30, and price shot up in your favor and went up how much? Oh, my bad. If you would have entered right here and held price, you're talking about 1,000 pip move that is off of this breakout that happened earlier, a few hours earlier in the day. Or if you wanted to just wait for the first bullish candle after, you could have hopped in this as well and been able to ride it up. So it's like, even with US 30, there's multiple opportunities for somebody could have hopped in and capitalized on this buy. Now today, in 6 minutes, we have the New York Stock Exchange open. So I'm waiting to see what we get. I'm really not like unless something looks just beautiful, I probably won't hop in. And when I say beautiful, what I'm looking for is like, let's say here for S&P. If S&P, when the news drops, like has a hard rejection down in this region, and then we start to see bullish activity, bullish engulfing candles, bullish arrow, stuff like that in this region, after price comes and retouches it, I'll be looking to take it for a buy up. But I wouldn't, I saw somebody get a little confused with this too, is that you can't use the high of the day for a sell. So it's like, let's say this is the high of the day. I wouldn't, like, let's say S&P broke down below this zone right here at 4445. I wouldn't be looking for sells in that scenario. I would only be looking for sells if price broke down below the low of the Asia zone or the low of yesterday. So I don't use the high of the day to take potential sells. I'm only looking for buys. I'll wait and see how price reacts in this area before it goes. It might just shoot up as soon as the news drop. Like, we don't know. But I'm definitely not forcing a trade in a scenario, because there were better trades that lined up in that first, like between 8 and 9, that folks could have been hopping in. Does the strategy work on cryptos? No, I wouldn't trade breakouts on crypto. I'll be honest with you. I would take it easy with that. Questions, comments, concerns before we get to our the 9:30 stock exchange open. I already knew as soon as I saw what happened at 8:30, I was like, we might not end up in the trade today. So I wanted to make sure that I just went over like what's my strategy, what I'm looking for. And again, you don't need to be I don't believe that you need to be a rocket scientist to do this. Like, anybody could trade these breakouts. It just takes a couple times. I think one of the main things is that identifying your levels and then having something to know, okay, I get an alert when price is near this level, and then you just go look at it and wait for a strong close and follow it up. But you can identify your, like, if I were you, I would identify my high, my lows, my Asia breakout sessions every day at the same time. That way you just get into a rhythm of having, like, using 10 minutes during this time of your day to set up your outlook for today, and then have your key levels identified on the pairs that you're trading. And you can do the exact same thing on the GBP pairs as well. So the pound pairs, like S&P 500 and GBP NZD, they move about like GBP NZD might be more volatile than S&P 500. So it's like you'll get opportunities to catch trades leveraging this for the GBP pairs as well. But definitely just wanted to go over that in detail and probably drop this recording somewhere and leverage, just because I think that a lot of people could really, that's just strategy 3 and 4. Like those are things already in the back office, but a lot of times people have confusion with like actually doing it live, like when it's going on. So I try to go from scratch all the way to where we're at right now. Whew, that was a mouthful. Questions, comments, concerns, I can throw them in the chat or the Q&A. We're going to just hang out and watch and see what we get at the open. So like I showed y'all S&P, same thing for US 30. If price comes and shoots down in this region, and then like we have a wick and or I see activity that's bullish, like a bullish candle formations and stuff like that around this zone, I'll be looking to take a buy back up. But I wouldn't force this. The only way I would take a buy back up is if price comes down and touches this region in some way. And it's basically like that across the board. Same for Nas. And again, here's something interesting for Nas is that price. There's only 3 lines that I have here. This is the low of the money zone, strategy 4. These 2 are both the Asia breakouts, up and down. You see price here broke it up, but the strategy 4 to the north hasn't broken the high of yesterday. So that is something that would be interesting. If price shoots up, like if we see Nas 100 shoot up past this 15,169 region and we have a strong close up in that region, I could potentially take that for a buy as well, but I don't know how likely it is. All right, so we'll pay attention. But yeah, price breaking and closing over the high of the day will be another indication. But you see here that how many days was price in this region and never broke it. Like you see here, this red resistance here is pretty strong level of resistance, because for 1, 2, 3, 4, and now almost 5 days, prices stayed under it. So we got less than 60 seconds. So we're about to find out. Nas might be the best setup out the 3, but I just don't like it. I won't plan on forcing it. I really don't. Yes, Dwayne, it works for GR. I just don't trade GR30. I could start bringing that on here though and going over it. But yeah, GR30 is like a US 30 as far as lot size and how people need to manage their accounts. I really want to focus in on Nas and S&P because I feel like people with $100, $200, $500 accounts will benefit greatly from that. But let's see, we're about to get a change here in a few seconds. Boom. Why is Cameron calling me? He knows damn well I'm on the call right now. All right. So US 30s, I mean, nothing seems to have happened. It's very, very not as active as we would expect. Let's see though. Yeah, really didn't react much at all, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We see S&P looking like it wants to head down. Again, I would love it to head down in this region and give us some buying pressure here where we can take this trade up. But we need some volatility. The reason that I trade this session is because at 9:30 every day is usually some level of volatility, enough for us to take a trade. But it is not a lock. Questions, comments, concerns, drop them. Nas didn't do Nathan at all. All right, but yeah, so from now on, I want to see more people catching these breakouts because they be happening in like random times during the day. So it's like if I say somebody shoot me a message in the back chat or something, hey, so and so S&P is close to his breakout zone, like I'm on it. Like I don't care what time of day it is, and with something to know is that with AP Live is that we're going to have a 24-hour streaming service. So it's like we'll be able to get on live like all the time whenever we want, even on top of the sessions that we had scheduled. Like if something's going on, be like, hey, let's trade NFP together this week, and we'll just hop right on the AP Live. So I think that that's going to be a great value add on, and we got a couple things coming with that. So I'm just excited. Like when y'all find out about AIRO 5.0 and what's going to be in the package, y'all going to be like, y'all going to be blown away. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, right, Dwayne. So it's like we're gonna be able to go live whenever we want. We're gonna be able to basically like y'all see Jackie, who's taking a lot of longer term trades, or like trades that take hours to play out because she's trading on the H1. And we'll be able to keep like basically like when you buy AIRO, or like when you log into one of our when you log into the trade room, you're gonna be able to see all active trades that we're in right now. So it's like if Jackie called out an S&P buy and it's in 15 pips of drawdown, like you'll be able to see the entry, the SL, the TP, and decide whether or not you want to hop in that trade. Even if you missed the call and she already gave the breakdown of the analysis of what's happening, you'll be able to get more updated and just have different trading opportunities. So I'm really excited about that. I see US 30 starting to just shoot, just like, man, couldn't get no retest, but it's all good. S&P is kind of starting to flirt down in this region. So I want to see what's going to happen if it gets a little bit closer. But yeah, so really excited about that in general. Thoughts on XAU? I don't have XAU up, but I'll grab it real quick. I wonder if anybody took that. For anybody who took this, we talked about a little XAU sell yesterday that popped off right before we hopped off the call. Got a couple of screenshots of some people making some money. I didn't even take it. I was pissed. Hopped off the call, started worrying about my son, other stuff going on. Meant to hop in the trade. Templates. Come on. There we go. Looks like a little W situation potentially here. Got a bullish candle here on the H1. You do have a bounce arrow. If there was an arrow that came up, that would be not shocking eventually. But I'll go down to the sun. Again, it depends on your style, like what time frame you're trading gold on. Like, are you looking for just more scalping opportunities? I haven't done enough research of my own to determine if the breakout strategies work on gold, because I don't really trade it like that. But if you just use your eyes, like you can see here the high of yesterday's money zone and see potential breakout situations there, but I don't trade gold enough. I don't have enough data to prove it valid. The indices and the GBP pairs, 100,000% works on it. I've been using it now for months. But gold is a little different. So I'm more looking for market structure and things like that when it comes to gold. And it's just a little hot and cold. Like you'll see here that we had, look at this massive push down from gold. This is on the H4. Huge push down, big wick here on the H4 time frame. So you see all this buying pressure that's in the zone. You see a massive wick like this, and then you kind of have a W here. So it's like, are we going to see gold just start to rise back up? But that'll mean that the dollar is going to have to drop. So it's like, I'll bring up the dollar index here. And again, this messed up my GU so because I was trying to roll with this down. So you see, this is the United States dollar index, and you can kind of base what's going to happen with, a lot of currencies based on what you see here with the dollar index. And this came out, and this is so interesting, is that this candle, this down arrow, this happened right at the news. So it's like at 8:30 this morning, they had this down arrow on the dollar, and then you see all this downward pressure here, meaning that GU and EU have all probably gone up, and UCHE and UCHEF has probably like gone down. And you can also trade your breakouts on the dollar index. So it's like you can throw your breakouts here. And what the thing with the dollar is understanding what the information is actually meaning to you. So it's like, let's say this is the low of the Asia session here for the US dollar. Okay. Price broke the low. What does that actually mean though? So if I think that the dollar is going to keep dropping, What does that mean? That means that I can go look at GBP USD and look for buys. I can go look at Euro USD and start looking for buys. I can start go to UCHEF, UCAD, UJ, and whichever pair set up the best for what I'm looking for, but having the confidence to know, okay, well, it broke my Asia session low. It's probably going to keep dropping for the rest of the session. That means that we can hopefully find trading opportunities with X, Y, and Z pairs, because I know this information based off just understanding how the market overall works. I hope that makes sense. I know it can be a little detailed for some. Questions, comments, concerns, though, drop it. I said S&P dropping. Let's see. Yep, right in this region. What's up, Noah? It's my guy. So we're playing in this region right now. This is good. So what I would like to see is, this is the 5 minute for S&P. So you'll see, depending on what happens here, you'll see AIRO, like these green, like AIRO creates the zones real time. So it's like you can see, like, and eventually it's probably what happened if price is going to go back up. We'll see AIRO create a green zone in this region, and then be looking for bounce AIRO goes from there as well. And even on the 1 minute, like you'll see here, this zone here on the 1 minute was just formed. So it's like to catch that pressure. And I know a lot of people who trade the bag entries off the 1 minute around these regions as well too. So it's a potential trade that could line up. We will see though, not rushing to hop in. Let's go see what the other ones are doing. Mm, 30 going. Nas really hasn't shown us yet. Yeah, I want to see how this 5 minute candle closes for S&P. This might be a good opportunity to take this up and see if we got a wick forming here right off our zone. Let's see what we get. We haven't even really, like, even on the 1 minute, this candle here is close. This is basically a bullish engulfing, but I want to see a little more than that. And we might be able to take this up. It's definitely a more risky to trade off the 1 minute doing. You gotta be more accurate. Yeah, I don't love the close enough, so I'll wait. And again, I've already took a trade, 2 trades today, so it's like I don't want to force it off the retest, but we'll see. Let's play it out. See how price closes when these next couple candles close. And this is why, like, if price stays in this region, a green zone will pop up, and then you could look for a bounce arrow go on the 5, hopefully. Nas is still looking very undecisive. Even though US 30 shot a little bit, it's not super clear as far as direction and what it wants to do. But no, I'm glad we went over the breakouts in more detail. So for everybody, you can just be more consistent. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get this recording though from corporate. Questions, comments, concerns? if I were to take the S&P buy when it lines up, you gotta have your stop loss at least below this low here, this wick, which is about 20 pips. So it's like you take this buy, you want to give yourself at least 20 to 30 pip room. But let's see if we can get some real bullish pressure, and even a arrow on a 1 minute would be better than just pulling it. So we wait it out and see if we get it. If not, it's all good. Again, we're gonna be back on here tomorrow, but right at London session tonight, everybody go and just line up for all your breakouts. Figure out what app you're going to use to get your notifications at key levels, and then these are opportunities that are going to present themselves over and over again. Looks like it wants to do it for us. That was XRP I was looking for. So this is a bullish engulfing that you have right here on the 1 minute. Again, you didn't get your arrow yet, but you're still at this key zone right here. So you take a buy. And again, one thing too that I love about Jackie is that she always she teaches this really strongly, is that I think our trading plan goal for the week is 250 pips. So our goal is 250 pips. Once she clears that, she doesn't take any live trades on for the rest of the week, even if we talk about it or go over the details. And it's a really, really smart method to do, so you don't mess up your win record or anything like that, or like what you're already doing in your weekly goals. But this is looking like if we can get an arrow or a strong close on a 5, it's looking like I want to take that up. You see here, you got 2 wicks off of the zone here. So these 2 wicks that you see here on the 5-minute candle are telling you that there's buying pressure in this region, or else there wouldn't be so much pressure from like these wicks. The little wick is showing you is that price tried to go in this area and was pushed back up. And that's what it's saying. Way down, bro. It's like Dr. Cat, like it's like I don't even want to I think it's because the news came out at 8:30, and that really gave that kind of like just that volume that, you know what I mean, that we were looking for. And that was a little bit before our call. But it's pitiful. Like I'm trying to see something shake. Nothing wants to happen. And just chasing it is just annoying. But we are just clean right on our zone. So it's like, if you take it, just put your stop 20, 30 pips below and let it ride. We did just get an arrow here on the 15-minute for XRP. I don't really manually trade cryptos like that, but believe me when I tell you, I'm bullish long-term on XRP. I see people in the chat though, they're taking a lot of bounce arrow goes with the cryptos, and if you look at where the arrows are at, you know what I'm saying, especially if you take the ones that are with the trend, which is up, there would have been a few opportunities to take some good trades. And you see here, look at this. So Nas is now playing on this line as well. So your Nas price came down and touched your high of Asia session, and you see bullish pressure off of that. Like, this is so perfect because I love that you can see it with your eyes. Is that price came and touched this line right here, and you see the pressure that is involved around this region, which is why I trade breakouts, because when price breaks through some of these zones, there's pressure there that keeps it going in your favor, to where you can make more money. And for anybody who hopped in S&P, again, as soon as you get 20 pips in profit, move your stop and profit. But you would be floating pretty nice right now. And again, all off of this region right here, which is exactly what we talked about, of price coming down, sitting here. It's not a ton of volatility in the market today, and I'm already done. But this is a good setup when you see this retest. And then now you're probably going to end up getting a 1 minute bag strategy. And then maybe after this next candle, you'll have a green zone that pops up here for AIRO as well. And then potentially a 5 minute AIRO as well, which will give you that secondary bounce AIRO go. But again, it's good opportunities when you just understand what's going on in the market. What's considered a strong candle? Good question, Dwayne. And again, I appreciate you asking questions. I feel like me and you having a one-on-one training call right now. But for a strong candle, I want to see let me find an example here. So a strong candle, in my opinion, is a candle that doesn't have wicks. Like, I want to see it majority beige, full bullish. So it's like, or full bearish, whatever direction I'm looking for. Let's see. Go to US 30. So strong candles, and again, what makes a candle weaker? Like, when I say wicks make it weaker, like a wick on a candle is showing you that there's, like, let's say I'm looking for buys for US 30, and I'm looking at, let's say, this candle here. The first thing I want to see is called bullish engulfing, and it just means that the body of this candle here is bigger than the entirety of the candle prior. So it's like the body of the candle is ignoring the wicks, and you leveraging just this whole body, and is that bigger than the candle before, and that is a bullish engulfing candle. Now, a strong candle for me is basically just a bullish engulfing candle with no wicks on it. Like, I like even this right here that you see here for US 30. This last 5 minute candle doesn't have a wick in either direction, so it's just showing you that, like, price was really moving in that direction without any massive pushback, anything like that. So I like to see candles like that around the key regions, which is why it's like the S&P one didn't give you a super clean one. And you'll have like a slight bit of subjectiveness there for which ones you want to take. But for S&P, look at this, even this candle here, your previous one here, this candle, you have a wick here, but that wick is in our favor. Obviously, it's pushing up from the zone and showing buy. But I wouldn't consider that a really strong candle, but it's slightly subjective. And that's why you want to get the Candlestick Bible. If you haven't already, it's free. Candlestick Bible breaks down basically a ton of different candle patterns and formations that will give you confidence on what the stronger candles are as you're looking at it, because it's kind of tough to find super clean examples live. If that makes sense, bro. Appreciate the question, though. And again, here's your AIRO on the 1 minute that did come. I'm so curious to see if we'll get the green zone right here at this region and see what that is. But just the volatility is low. It is low. Got a couple minutes left, y'all. If y'all got any questions, let me know. But we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. If anybody's looking to hit me up on Telegram or my Instagram DMs. I've been intentional with trying to make sure I respond to everybody. Even Dr. Jeff hit me up yesterday and texted me in the morning, and I'm like, dude, before I go to sleep, I make sure I call him back and talk to him. And that's just kind of my energy about it. I want to see everybody just have that confidence, have success. Again, I'm not the best trader in the world, but I feel like I'm an above average trader, and just working on getting the community to be more consistent with their strategies and what you guys are looking for. Look at this. S&P on the 9 a.m. candle close had a massive H1. I'm sorry, had a massive candle, but this right here got a nice arrow with a balanced arrow go here for S&P. More confidence that it's going up. Questions, comments, concerns, though. We're going to wrap this thing up and let everybody do what they're going to do today. Questions, comments, concerns. Yeah, just 40 folks just hopped off the call. Well, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody's time today. I hope you got some nuggets out of what we talked about this morning. Want to see more people being consistent in the market. Again, hit me up, tag me, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Telegram. All my stuff is at impact__Don. I'm super grateful. And then hopefully let's see what we can get tomorrow. I'll be back on the same time tomorrow. I'll also be up in time for Jackie's call in the morning. And for anybody, I highly advise y'all pull up to Jackie's session tomorrow. Because even if y'all don't take a trade, you'll see like the pre-setups for what we're going to talk about on my call. And if like, it'll just work in your favor to be on both. So appreciate it. Yeah, DM me, Raj. You already know, bro. Everybody enjoy the rest of y'all day. Stay safe.